Okay, so we're looking at partial fractions. So as usual, make some notes on your learning objectives, dates in Welsh. So hit pause when you're ready, hit play again. So we're looking at partial fractions. So where we have a fraction such as this, x minus 1 divided by x plus 3 times x plus 1, we can split it into partial fractions. So we can split it into 2 over x plus 3, one of the factors there, minus 1 over x plus 1, the other factor there. So what we're looking at is how do we split a fraction into partial fractions like these. In this case it's 2, because we've got two factors, but it could be more than 2. Okay, so that's split into partial fractions. If we have this, 11 over x minus 3 x add 2, then when we're trying to split it, we say that's equivalent to something over x minus 3, which we call a, plus something over the other factor, x plus 2. And we need to then work out what a and b are, these two terms here. And that's going to be our exercise for today, calculating what a and b are. So I want you to make some notes on this page. And when you're ready, so hit pause when you're ready, hit play again, and then we'll move and have a look at another an example. Okay, so we've got an example here. It says split 6 minus 2 over x minus 3 x plus 1 into partial fractions. So if we write our term, our fraction, 6 x minus 2 divided by x minus 3 x add 1. We want to split that into partial fractions. So that means we're going to have something over the first factor, a divided by x minus 3, plus b, something over the second factor, x add 1. Now on the right hand side, our common denominator is going to be that factor times that factor, which is equivalent to what we've got here, x minus 3 times x plus 1. Now here I've multiplied the denominator by x plus 1, so I've got to do the same thing to the numerator, so e times x plus 1 plus b. I've multiplied this by x minus 3, so I'll multiply the top by x minus 3. So that's equivalent to what we have on the left hand side, 6x minus 2 divided by x minus 3 x plus 1. Now our denominators on both sides are the same, so we can ignore them, they'll cancel each other out. So we can make it easier for ourselves if we just write 6x minus 2 is equal to a x plus 1 plus b x minus 3. Now I've got two unknowns here, a and b. To work them out I need to get rid of one of them, and then I can work out what the other one is. To do that, I'm going to say let x equal, so to get rid of this term, if x is equal to minus 1 plus 1 gives me 0, so that gets rid of this term. So if we say x equals minus 1, then we replace minus 1 in the whole equation, so it'll be 6 times minus 1 minus 2 is equal to, this goes to 0, minus 1 plus 1 is 0, and then here we got b minus 1 minus 3. So we've got minus 6 minus 2, so minus 8, is equal to minus 4b. That means b is equal to minus 8 divided by minus 4, which is 2. So I now know that b is 2. I need to work out now what a is. So to work out what a is, I need to get rid of b. So if I can let x be equal to, I need to x be equal to something that gets rid of the minus 3 there. So I'm going to say let x equal 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. Gets rid of this term. So that means I've got 6 times 3 minus 2 is equal to a brackets 3 add 1. So I've got 6 times 3 is 18 minus 2, 16 is equal to 4a. Means that a is equal to 16 divided by 4. So a equals 4. And then to finish, I need to write this original term, but now I can substitute for a and b. So I've got 6x minus 2 over x minus 3, x plus 1 is equal to a is 4, so 4 all over x minus 3, b is 2, so plus 2 over x plus 1. And I'm done. So I've now been able to convert that fraction into partial fractions. So your turn now. Make some notes on this example. So hit pause. When you're ready, we'll look at another example. Right, I've got another example. This time it's a bit more involved. We've got 6x squared plus 5x minus 2 divided by x times x minus 1 times 2x plus 1. So let's write it out and then we can work through it then. So we've got 6x squared plus 5x minus 2 all over x minus 1, 2x add 1. And that's equal to, so I've got 3 terms on the bottom there, 3 linear terms. So I've got to have 3 partial fractions. So I'll put a something over x plus b over x minus 1 plus c over 2x plus 1. So that's my a, b and c. So I can say that's equal to my common denominator, which I've already got here, is x times x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. Sorry, 2x plus 1. Now a is over x, so I need these other 2 terms to multiply that. So that's going to be x minus 1, 2x plus 1, plus b, that's already got the x minus 1, so it's times x times 2x plus 1. I need to extend this a little bit further. So that's plus c, that's over 2x plus 1, so it's going to be times x minus 1. So those are my 3 terms. On this side here, just writing this back, 6x squared plus 5x minus 2 all over x times x minus 1 times 2x plus 1. Right, same denominator, so I can ignore the denominators, and that means that 6x squared plus 5x minus 2 is equal to a times x minus 1, 2x add 1, plus b times x times 2x plus 1 plus c times x minus 1. So this time I'm looking for 3 terms, a, b and c. So in order to get rid of, oops, make that x there. In order to get rid of, I need to get rid of 2 of them so I can find 1. Now, if I look here at that first term a, if I let x equal 1, that means I get 1 minus 1 gives me 0, so that term disappears. But also I've got an x minus 1 here, so it'll be 1 minus 1 gives me 0. So a and c disappear. So let's try that. So if we say let x equal 1, so we got right here 6 times 1 squared plus 5 times 1 minus 2 is equal to, that term disappears and that term disappears because 1 minus 1 is 0. So I'm left with b times 1 times 2 plus 1, because it's 2 times 1. So I've got 6 plus 5, 11, take away 2 is 9, is equal to 2 plus 1 is 3 times b, so 3b. That means b is equal to 9 over 3, which is 3. So I've got b. Let's try again. So this time, I want to get rid of this 2x plus 1. So in order to turn that to 0, I need x to be equal to minus a half. So let x be equal to minus a half. So I've got 6 times minus a half squared plus 5 times minus a half minus 2 is equal to minus a half times 2 is minus 1 plus 1, so that goes, and so does the b term because that goes to 0. So I'm left with c times a half, sorry, times minus a half even, times minus a half minus 1. So that's 6 over 4 plus, not plus, minus 5 over 2 minus 2 is equal to c times minus a half. I tell you what, let's write it in full. C times minus a half times minus 3 over 2. So minus a half minus 1 is minus 3 over 2. So I've got 6 over 4 minus 5 over 2 minus 2 is equal to, minus times minus gives me plus, so that would be 3 over 4. See. Good. So if we put everything over 4, that should help. That's going to be 6 over 4 minus times by 2, so 10 over 4 minus, let's put it over 4, I'm going to have 8 over 4, so give me 2 is equal to 3/4 of c. So I've got 6 minus 10 minus 8, so that's going to be minus 12 over 4 is equal to 3 over 4. See, you can ignore the denominators because they're both over 4. So it's going to be minus 12 that's going to give us minus 12 is equal to 3c. So c is going to be equal to minus 12 over 3, which is equal to minus 4. So I've got two terms. I've got I've got b, I've got c. So now I've got to let x equal, what do I need to let x equal to this time to find a? I've got an x on its own there and an x on its own. So if I just simply let x equal 0, that's going to be 0, so that term disappears. Let x equal 0, that term disappears, and I'm just left with that one. So let's work it out then. So we got 6 times 0 minus 5 plus 5 times 0 minus 2 is equal to a times 0 minus 1, so minus 1. And here we got 0 plus 1, so 1. So that means it leaves me with minus 2 is equal to minus a, so a is equal to 2. So those are my three terms. So to finish, I need to write this original term using my A, B and C, which I know now. So I can say, let's write it here, 6x squared plus 5x minus 2 all over x times x minus 1 times 2x plus 1 is equal to A, which is 2 over x, B is 3, so plus 3 over x minus 1. Now C is minus 4, so that's going to be minus 4 over 2x plus 1. That's job done then. There we go. And that's our solution. So we split it into partial fractions. 3 terms in the denominator, so 3 terms there. Good. Make some notes, and once you've done that, I've got some questions for you to do. So hit pause, make some notes, and then we'll move on to your questions. Okay, and your exercises, it's exercise 1D on page 11 of the A2 book. So let's see, I think you want to practice most of these because you're unfamiliar with it now. So I pretty much do all of question 1 and then work through the rest of them, really. Yes, gives you familiarity. Okay, good luck.